Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different revelations that will lead to saga-wide implications in this story by director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So, one of the more interesting aspects, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say this, that Palpatine really is the driving force for the hype of this movie, ever since we heard his laughter at the very end of The Rise of Skywalker's teaser trailer that made its debut just around 3 months ago over at Star Wars Celebration. Now, the great thing about this is that we do know that Palpatine is going to be a major character in this movie, and that Ian McDiarmid is actually coming back as Palpatine himself in many of the different scenes in this film. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this movie, and when it all comes down to one of the set leaks, this is where things begin to get very intense for the character of Palpatine, and a new name for Lord Sidious. Now, specifically, what's really interesting about all of this is that it's described that one of the scenes that were filmed during the month of October of last year included both Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, and an unnamed actor, as well as Ian McDiarmid, on set for one of the flash fights, where Kylo and Rey and Darth Sidious and the Dark Acolyte. It said that the scene involved many different stunts and wire work, and that the costume design for Ian McDiarmid, portraying the role of Palpatine for a scene, was dubbed as Kasinga Sheev Palpatine. It's described that one of the big plans by J.J. Abrams is to give Palpatine a new name that is based on Palpatine's father in Star Wars Legends material, and that this current first name would be replaced by, of course, the name of Sheev, would be moved to a middle name. The costume design dubbed as Kasinga Sheev Palpatine, SNE-3, is described to be a black outfit that appears similar to a trench coat of some kind that Ian McDiarmid was wearing to provide dialogue as Palpatine when confronting both Rey and Kylo Ren. Story-wise, it's said that Palpatine himself takes on the name of his father, that is said to be made canon once the film's novelization will drop along with the movie. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, in case you guys are unfamiliar with Star Wars Legends, also known as the Expanded Universe, in there we do get to learn about Palpatine's family. And in case you guys did not know this, Palpatine killed his entire family. I believe it was on board of a Star Destroyer or some kind of ship, something around those lines. What's really interesting about that, though, is that we do know that Episode 9 is really going to deliver when it comes to the character of Palpatine. Now, this new name that Palpatine gets in The Rise of Skywalker, Kasinga Sheev Palpatine. The name Kasinga itself is said to replace the middle name of course, Sheev. Now, Sheev is said to be the first name right now. That's going to be replaced by the name Kasinga and moved to its middle name. So, I'm not quite sure how I really feel about this plan by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio by changing the name of Palpatine. I will admit that a couple of years ago, when it was first revealed that Palpatine's first name is Sheev, I wasn't quite sure how I really felt about that, and the fact that they are now basing his first name off of his very own father from Star Wars Legends / the Expanded Universe, it is interesting. I will say it is very interesting. It's a very clever way of kind of making the Palpatine, figure a little bit more fresh and new. Like I've said before, in The Rise of Skywalker, this movie really is going to deliver when it comes to Palpatine. They're really going to change many different elements of the character. Now, yes, he's back in the form of a spirit that actually takes over the body of the Dark Acolyte from the leaks that we have been going over, that's said to be portrayed by Matt Smith himself. So, Ian McDiarmid being on set and going into this outfit that is said to be very similar to a trench coat that is colored black, alright? Now, we do know that Matt Smith has actually done a lot of scenes with, Ian McDiarmid, and it's very possible that Ian is just providing the dialogue and is speaking like Palpatine, as, of course, Matt Smith is actually acting for the role. Now, with that being said, like I say, in Star Wars Legends, we learned a lot about Palpatine's family, and he was able to kill his entire family on board of some kind of ship. I said Star Destroyer before, by the way. It's not a Star Destroyer, it was just a regular ship, and what's really interesting about that, though, is that it just shows how ruthless the character Palpatine really was toward his family. And the fact that they are now going to do something very similar to that in Episode 9, where we do get to learn a little bit more about Palpatine's past and how he based his name off of his very own father, and that once the novelization of this movie drops, along with the movie itself, is that when Palpatine's father is going to be made canon under Disney, where Palpatine names himself after his own father. So what I like about that, Kasinga Sheev Palpatine, it actually does work if you think about it. It actually kind of flows off the tongue pretty well. And I think what they're trying to do with Palpatine here is that they're really trying to make him feel like a different character, but at the same time making him a very familiar character from the originals and the prequels. Now, with that being said, I'm not quite sure how fans would really react to them changing his name. Mind you, his first name was never really mentioned in the prequel trilogy movies. This was only mentioned in other forms of material like books and novels, etc. So I think that the name Sheev being pushed over to being a middle name as opposed to his first, we'll have to wait and see how that's going to resonate with fans. Anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.